Welcome to Minutes with Mango, Life in Motion. I'm your host, Johnny Mango. This is the place where we inquire about lifestyle, culture, and careers. Weekly, we meet with new guests that make a contribution of their insightful stories about their careers and how those careers impact their lifestyle and culture. Hello, everybody. This is Johnny, and welcome to Minutes with Mango. Today, we have a guest from the Netherlands with us who is a Taoist, and we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about how the Tao is not something you believe, but it's something that you live each day. We're going to hear a little bit of a life story and how our guest found the Tao, and now he's a practitioner of the Tao. So, we're also going to hear a little bit about why high achievers tend to burn out. I think he has a good perspective on that. So, without further ado, I'd like to welcome Gerard Wouters. Hello, Gerard.
Hi.
Welcome. Gerard, I really appreciate you being here today. So why don't you start us off and tell us a little bit about your background and how you discovered the Tao and what your life was like that before and what it's like now.
Well, how far do you want me to go back? I can go back for ages, but I'll spare you that. No. When I met my Taoist teacher, I was a financial interim manager. Made a lot of money, but that didn't make me very happy anyway. I was really depressed, overworked, and I met my teacher at a business meeting. A Taoist, a Thai man, small guy, and he was there because they wanted to do a project with him in Thailand. That's why they invited him. But he was staring at me for as long as the business meeting was, and I found it very annoying. But as soon as the business meeting was over, I walked up to him, and before I could say anything, he told me exactly how my youth was, my issues of depression, the cause of it, how I felt, the whole 9 yards. And I was completely flabbergasted. So I took him home with me because, that made me really curious. He stayed there for about 5 weeks with me. I had a big house, so he had his own room. And in that 5 weeks, he started testing me, trying out if I had the discipline to fulfill this, because it takes a lot of discipline and you have to go through a lot of processes like burnout. He created this with me consciously because you can. Everything is energy. And after 5 weeks, he was obviously convinced and told me, do you want to learn this? And I said, you know what? You better believe it, because I've seen so many crazy things that you do and things that you say to people while you don't know them. I just want to get to the bottom of this. This is absolutely incredible. I said, only one thing, I'm not going to move to Thailand. I told him, you know what? I don't want to move to Thailand, but you can come here on my cost. I know I'll pay everything for you, the flights, the whole damn thing. Just come over and stay as long as you want. And I'll pay all the expenses, make sure that you have your dinner, etc., etc. And that's what he did for about 7 years.
Whoa.
So he went up and down for 7 years, and stayed with me for months. And after about 5 years or so, I said, you know what? This is so valuable, and I think this is much too valuable to keep locked up in a monastery. So, with your permission, I want to turn this into a real treatment. And he said, okay, you know enough, we're not done yet, but you have enough knowledge of the situation, of the philosophy. There's only one but you leave me out of it. And I said, what do you mean, leave you out of it? I mean, you're my teacher, so what do you mean, leave you out of it? He says, well, I give you permission to turn this into a treatment, but I don't give you permission to call my name. And I said, why? What do you mean? Don't call your name. You're my teacher. And everything I do is because of you. He says, well, I don't want to become a tourist attraction. I live in a monastery and I value my peace of mind, and I don't want to be a tourist attraction with all kinds of buses with the tourists in front of me. And no, sorry. So I said, no, okay, I'll make you a deal. I'll call this treatment the NeuroNum method, and NeuroNum is the Thai word for no name. And this is the way I can honor you. And he said, well, that's a smart solution. Yeah. So that's why I called it the NeuroNum method. And he taught me the complete philosophy of Taoism. And he said, I'm going to come to your place and see when you treat people, how you do that, because I want to make sure that you do it right. And so he did. And obviously, he doesn't speak Dutch, but yeah, he can read body language, facial expressions like I do, because that's the basis of my treatment. So people don't have to tell me anything. I can immediately see what is wrong with them. And that saves us a lot of time. So that was my my travel to the Taoism. Yeah. And it changed my life completely.
That's a fascinating story. That is
Yeah.
amazing. That number one, that somebody would identify you, and number two, that you would make the investment of time, 7 years, and the investment of money to bring somebody to your country to do all that. That's a big commitment.
Yeah, well, I earned a lot of money as a financial interim manager, so
okay.
Yeah, I could afford it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me, Gerard, what does living the Tao look like in everyday life?
Well, it's not as easy as it sounds, because there's a lot of rules, and well, what's very important is to read signs. We all get signs. Most people experience it as setbacks, but when you know how to decipher a setback, it becomes a message that you can work with. But obviously, I'm only human. And there's a very good reason that a lot of Taoist masters live in the jungle, because they're afraid to lose their gift when they mingle with average people. And I chose not to, but I must admit that makes it a little harder than living an average life. Yeah. I have to protect myself properly for the influence of other people.
Really?
And the media, because when you look at the media for 2 hours, you get completely crazy. Yeah, looks like the world's gone mad, but there's a reason for that, and that's what I explain to people too. I always give them an example with a kitchen. So when you want a new kitchen built in your house, you have to demolish the old one, and that's exactly what is happening in the world. At this moment, we're demolishing the old kitchen. And we have to, because if we don't, we cannot build a new world. And I completely understand that a lot of people have a lot of problem with this situation and the wars and you know what. But yeah, there's a big picture there. And when you understand the big picture, you lose your fear, because you know it's going to get better, but it has to get a lot worse before it becomes better. And yeah, that's life.
Yeah. Wow. Well, what was tell me about the moment. I mean, I know you met this person and you spent time with him, but what was the moment in your life when you realized the way you were living was unsustainable? When was that? What was that moment like?
When I met my teacher, I felt really stupid, and I really had the idea that I was completely alone, an alien, and very depressed because nobody understood me. And when I met my teacher, he, when I took him home, we had a very long conversation all night. And at one moment he said, "You know what? Take a piece of paper and write something on it." And I said, "What do you mean? Why should I take a piece of paper and write something on it?" He says, "Just humor me. Take a piece of paper and write something on it. No matter what, just write something on it." And so I did. And he said, "You know what? I have a very big surprise for you. You're not stupid. You're dyslexic." "What?" I said, "What do you mean, dyslexic?" He says, "You're dyslexic and that's why you are slow. And that's why you think you are stupid. But trust me, people who are dyslexic are very intelligent. And that's exactly why a lot of people don't understand you. You're miles ahead of them, you know?" they 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 look at they look at a few hours ahead. You look 10 years ahead. So they're completely lost with you. They don't understand who you are and how you think. But that doesn't mean you're stupid. It means you're dyslexic. And because you are dyslexic, you have to find all kinds of other ways to reach the same result as they want you to reach in school,
Mm-hmm.
Because in school I was very slow. I remember a time that it took me about 1 hour to write one A4, one page,
Yeah.
because from here to there just wasn't working. Yeah.
Well,
So, yeah, that was really an eye opener.
so
And
that was kind of the moment when you said, "Oh, well, maybe I should pursue this then," huh?
well, yeah, yeah. The moment he explained to me that I wasn't stupid, I was dyslexic, I was high sensitive, I was very intelligent, and he explained this all in detail to me, and yeah, that was a really eye opener. Yeah,
I did an interview with two ladies. Oh boy, it's been about 6, 8 months ago. It's called the Genius Project, and what the Genius Project is all about are people that have different learning disabilities,
yeah,
and their argument, I'll call it their argument, or their
yeah,
research has shown them that different people perceive and get information differently, but our science thinks everybody gets information the same way, and
yeah,
it's not necessarily true.
yeah,
They've been doing a lot with autistic people and children and things because
yeah,
they even talked about how they see. Their vision is different,
yeah,
and
yeah,
even an ophthalmologist who's measuring, hey, can you read the letters on the
hmm,
wall?
yeah,
They can't pick up on that
yeah,
because they're
yeah.
so in a
Well,
box, so to speak.
yeah, yeah.
So
Well, when they measured your IQ, they talk about being gifted, but I'm even above that.
uh-huh.
I have a measured IQ of 146.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, and that's only 2.5% of the world that
Yeah.
has this IQ. And a lot of people who are very intelligent, and trust me, I don't care about it. I'm not, selling myself like that. They have big issues with the people around them,
Right.
and they feel a lot more. Out of research, it proves that people who are very intelligent are also very high sensitive. So they're very vulnerable to all kinds of signals from the outside,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
makes it very hard. And a lot of very intelligent people are always often mistaken by autism.
Yes.
A lot of people who are very intelligent are labeled autists,
Right.
while they're not.
Right.
They only they only appreciate being alone, being isolated from the world. And in my
Well,
case, as a Taoist, that's something I really need to.
so
When I'm in a group,
yeah.
after I spend time with the group, I need to at least have an hour by myself to land, to get back to me, to myself. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's very hard to understand for a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you came from the financial world, you're probably used to a lot of hustle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and that's, I think that's the predominant thing in our Western culture. Everybody's hustling. Everybody's on the move. I
Yeah.
got to be here. I got to be there. I got to do this. I got to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and how does Taoism change that mindset? How does it affect it?
Well, there's a there's a Chinese word out of Taoism, and that's called Wu Wei. And Wu Wei means do not. And it doesn't mean do nothing. It means do not more than you can handle, and do
Oh,
not more than is necessary. Yeah. I've been managing groups of people for about 21 years in corporate life. And the first thing I found out that when you stop pushing people and create an environment that they can thrive and they feel happy, they produce more.
ah,
So it's the other way around.
yeah,
And that's Taoism. Taoist teaches you to do a lot of things the other way around. Because a lot of people things that we learn are just not correct. When you push people, they start producing less because they feel the pressure. If you take the pressure off, they produce more without
yeah.
stress. Yeah,
So I would assume that Taoism has been around for thousands of years,
yeah, yeah.
and
Almost 3,000 years.
so these are precepts that are pretty
Yeah.
embedded. How do you how do you think they got lost? How do you think what do you think happened? Where did it go wrong?
Well, there's three major issues in this world that people struggle with, and they're the cause of burnout and depression. Worrying all day.
Yep.
Worrying creates fear, and fear creates the feeling of not being good enough. And these are the three issues that I treat people and I take right out of them because that really kills your value and your self-worth. And how do I do that? By explaining that thinking was invented to learn new things, to understand new things, and to control new things.
Yes.
But you know what? That's what you do 1% a day. So why think 24/7? That's just a waste of time. And you
Yeah.
create fear, and fear is learned. Uh, we learned fear ages ago when we were living in the jungle. But you know what? We don't live in the jungle anymore. Yeah? And there are no animals out there that want us for breakfast. You
Right.
know? And that's what you have to unlearn. And when you unlearn worrying, fearing, and the feeling of not being good enough by understanding who you really are and what your place is in this world, because we can't all be CEOs.
Yeah.
We need cleaners too, and
Yeah.
drivers and taxi chauffeurs, and you know, and that's okay as long as you love doing that work. There's nothing, no problem there. If you understand that this is your place, go for it.
Yeah.
And enjoy life.
Another you're bringing up you're bringing up issues, subjects that I've had interviews with, and one of those was about what's called the imposter syndrome. How
Yeah,
it's about inadequacy in our jobs and in our life, and this was with a psychologist out of Canada, and the thing that she shared with me is about 75% of the population suffers at one time or another with that
yeah.
imposter syndrome, and that's what you're describing here, is that
The feeling of not being good enough,
not being
and
good
keep
enough.
trying to prove you, keep overstepping your boundaries, and at the end, it's a depression of burnout because that's the
Wow.
real cause.
Yeah.
And a lot of people and experts think a depression and burnout is all because of work. No, it doesn't. It it already goes wrong in your youth by
Yeah.
not feeling wanted, valued, when you don't get the attention of your parents that you should have, immediately you start feeling not good enough.
Right.
And that has nothing to do with work.
Right.
It already starts in your youth. And the problem is, and there's a very famous guy who said, if you believe you can or you can't, you're right. And that's exactly what happens here. When you have the feeling that you're not good enough, everybody gives you that signal and everybody confirms it. But the great thing is that when I turn that around and make you make your self-worth come back again, then everybody's going to confirm that too.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So that's really the change in the mindset on the hustle, isn't it? That's really the hustle is about the feeling of inadequacy and I got to get this done, or somebody's going to criticize me, or I'm not going to. It's going to generate some kind of fear, and so I got to do more. I got to keep going. I got to do this.
Yeah. I had an interim manager by me under treatment, and he says, "You know what? I have to work 5 days a week for my, I'm so tired." So I said, why don't you have a talk with him and ask him if it's okay to do the work in 4 days? Yeah, it's going to be a problem. It's not going to be a problem because this guy is hiring you because of what you do, not of the time you spend.
Yes.
He's hiring you because of your profession, of your knowledge, of your experience, and that has nothing to do with time. Yeah.
Right.
So the choice is easy, or you're going to keep working 5 days a week, and in 4 weeks you'll be depressed and burnout, or you're going to work for 4 days and you finish the job.
Yeah.
That's your choice, and that's Wu Wei.
So
not.
And I'm assuming you've worked with people all over the world, haven't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that pretty common, that sense of exhaustion?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm convinced that almost 95% of the world population has the feeling that they're not good enough.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm absolutely convinced.
Yeah.
And I know from internet that in the US, 54 million people suffer from depression. And even more people have a burnout.
Yeah.
So I'm really, my hands are itching, and I want to get to your country and help all these people because they're obviously not getting the help they need.
Right.
I can help them in 2-day workshops.
So
I'm only looking for somebody to organize that.
Yeah.
Because obviously I don't have a lot of contacts in the US. Yeah, and I am working on it, but if I can find somebody to organize that,
So what are the shifts that we talked about what the problem is, but what are the shifts? What are the key shifts that one needs to make to call it swinging their life around, but you've probably got a better word for it. But
Well, one very important thing is that feeling is much more than thinking.
Okay.
And if you don't feel good enough, start discovering who you are and what you stand for.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be a complete different thing that you're doing now.
Yeah.
You're talking about the imposter syndrome. Well, if that's the case, then you're not doing the job that you're meant to do.
Yeah.
So, do the research yourself. Go in. Instead of looking out, look in.
Go in. Okay.
How do I feel? Is this what I want to do the rest of my life?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's work or a relationship. Ask yourself the question, do I want to do this the rest of my life? And if the answer is no, immediately quit.
Yeah. And you have a book out, right?
Yeah, I wrote 8 books.
8
but
books.
This is the English one.
Okay.
yeah. It's on Amazon, and
And
if you can see here,
and the title is?
I've won a few prizes. Yeah,
What's the title?
In October, I received the Literary Titan Book Award,
Oh,
and
good.
yeah, and this one here, this one here is a prize for well-being author of the year 2026.
And what's the name
Yeah,
of the book?
how to make life simple, happy, and successful the Taoist way.
Okay.
Introduction to a new way of living.
All
And in the
right.
book, I give a lot of examples about life processes that people go through, and explain to them how silly there are. You know, there's so many things that we are learned that are just not serving us. You know,
Yeah.
being fearful is not serving you because it creates a blindness. And when people are trying to make you fear, the only reason for it is to get control of your life. But there's only one person that has or needs to control your life, and that is you.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I see people. I think that's part of the reason why the divorce is high right now, and at least in our country. I can't speak for yours, but
Yeah,
about that control, about that, you
yeah,
know, uh,
yeah.
either
Control is an illusion.
yeah, either you do it this way or it's going to be a problem or whatever. And
Yeah.
uh,
Well, there's more roads to Rome, eh? Yeah,
that's true. Yeah. Wow.
yeah. You
So,
know, sometimes you have to say, okay, drop everything and let's see what happens.
yeah.
I was with a company once, had 16 employees, and after working there for a month, I found out that my division, my department, were doing uh, working like crazy to solve a problem that is not ours. The problem was of an other department,
Yeah.
but my people were so loyal that they picked it up, and they've been doing that for 15 years. So I
Really.
told them, we're going to stop it right now. And they said, you know, panic's going to break out, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You know what? Fuck it. We're going to drop it and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And you know what happened? Within a week, everything turned to rubbish. A week later, we had a conversation with with the CEO of the company, and 3 weeks later, the problem was solved.
Really.
Yeah, and they've been doing this for 15 years, eh?
Wow.
While this was not their problem, this was not their job. This was the job of another department,
Right.
but we took it on us.
So
Useless.
that's another good example of the what we'll call that imposter syndrome. I don't want to shake the
Yeah,
trees too
yeah,
much because,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. Well,
uh,
that's Wu Wei, yeah. Do not what is not meant for you.
yeah.
And that's what I told them. And everybody panicked, except me, because I knew what's going to happen. I knew it's going to turn to rubbish. Then the CEO is going to come. We're going to explain to them that we've been doing 15 years, all kinds of tasks that are not ours. And you need to solve it, Mr. CEO.
Yeah.
And he did.
Yeah.
So within a month, the problem was solved.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the department that was responsible for this got their task back. And we saved ourselves a lot of time.
Yeah. Sure.
So our work became easier because we didn't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what that my employees didn't see.
So, you're kind of sneaking up on those feelings of being disconnected too. That's
Yeah,
part of that depression, that part of,
that's the cause of it.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and where does one begin? Where does one, what you're talking about seems to have a lot of impact with the
Yeah,
Taoist approach.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But where would one begin? How does one get started down that path?
Well, first you have to understand your value and realize that not feeling good enough is a signal that you get from people who have the same problem.
Aha.
You
Okay.
know, like I said, if you think you can or if you think you can't, you're both right. But when everybody gives you the signal that you're not good enough, then you have to realize, but this is your problem and not mine.
Right.
And if you understand that that is their problem, you know, a lot of things fall off your shoulder.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
then you get room to discover who you really are and what your place is in this world. So
Right.
stop listening to other people and start listening to yourself.
I heard a new term. You've heard the golden rule.
Treat others like you want to be treated yourself.
Right. Okay. But
Yeah,
there's this new rule called the platinum rule,
yeah.
and it's treat others how they want to be treated, which it flies in the face. Yeah, that's flies right in the
That's
face of
pleasing.
what you're describing.
That's pleasing. And
Yeah.
when you start pleasing people, you lose yourself
Yeah. Yeah.
because you're going to live their life,
Right. Right.
and you
Right.
need to live your life.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I
Doesn't
had
mean
had a doctor with me on the treatment, and the second session he came to me and he said, "I don't know what you did to me, but the last 2 weeks I told everybody no." And with some people I had something like,
yeah.
"What did I do?" And he says, "Nobody had a problem with me telling them no." And I was so surprised. He says, "Yeah, but the problem of saying no is here
Yeah.
in your head."
Right.
And they are grateful that you tell them no because that creates respect. And the next time they don't have to ask you because they know you'll say no.
Yeah. So you're describing a form of integrity and respect.
Yeah,
Actually, that's what you're
yeah,
describing.
yeah.
Is that?
Set your boundaries,
Yeah.
because somebody else won't.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll go as far as you let them.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So
And it doesn't work.
it's about traditional stuff. It's about boundaries. And it doesn't mean you have to
Yeah.
be a jerk to somebody. It just
No, of course not.
be
No.
respectful, but at
Yeah.
the same time, you have your boundaries and
Yeah. There's
make
nothing wrong with saying no
right.
because if it doesn't feel right, it is not right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I said feeling is much more important than thinking.
Yeah.
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 And when you feel it's not right, you can start thinking, oh, what is the other guy going to think of me? No, don't tell him no. It doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
And when you say to somebody, sorry, but what you are asking me, it doesn't feel right for me, nobody has a problem with it.
Yeah.
And they're actually very grateful that you said no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's creating respect.
when you treat somebody, do you do that in person? How do
Yeah.
you work? Is that what you do?
Well, I do one-on-one sessions, this one in person, or I do groups.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I want to do in the US. I want to do the groups because normally I do 4 sessions of 2 hours, but I can do that in a group in 2 days.
I see. Okay.
So, yeah, and that's what I want to do in the US.
Yeah.
And, the result is not less, it's even more. Because when there's more people, there's more energy.
Yes.
And I can, use that energy to heal people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
So, yeah. So I can do that in 2 days. And show people a completely different way of living. And show them what setback means. Learn them how to turn around and walk away. Create respect with other people. Set your boundaries. And be who you're supposed to be. Be your authentic self.
Yeah.
Because that's the only person you need to be in this life.
Yeah.
And what I do is mainly unlearning. I unlearn the behavior that prevents you from being happy and successful.
Uh-huh. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Gerard, that's just a very fascinating discussion we've just had about the Taoism and how long does it take somebody? I guess it's all individual to make. How long does it take somebody to make that turnaround? But
well, I can do it in 4 sessions or in 2 days.
really, okay,
Yeah. I've been doing it for 29 years, so
Have you
I'm not
really?
laughing, Yeah. I've been
Okay.
working, I've been treating people for 29 years already, yeah?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
All right.
yeah. I'm not a guy who says, who's telling people that I'm some guru or so. I'm just an ordinary person, but yeah, I can help people for 29 years already, turning their life around and start being their
Yeah.
authentic self, and understand their value and make their self-esteem grow.
Right.
Because when you start pleasing other people, you lose your self-esteem,
Right.
and
Right.
that's not good.
No.
That's not Tao. Tao is living according to the rules of nature, which are good for you as an individual. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
actually, people should stop listening to the news.
Stop listening
As
to the
long
news.
as long as they don't understand what's behind that,
Yeah.
stop listening to the news, because they're saying very different things that you hear.
Yeah. And it depends on which news you listen to anymore.
Yeah.
That's even crazier.
Well, the problem is there are more than 1,500 news channels,
Yeah.
but they're owned by 3 companies.
Really? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So they control the
So
message.
what news do you think you're getting?
Yeah. Wow.
I read a few days ago that your Mr. Trump, he gave a speech, and there were several stations that refused to broadcast it.
Yeah. That's true.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Because they were ordered from above. Don't broadcast that, because we don't agree with that.
Yeah.
And that's what happens, eh?
Yeah.
The news you get is all according to the narrative
According to the
from a
narrative.
certain small group.
Whatever that narrative is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Gerard, I want to thank you for today. This has been, for me, it's been enlightening
Well, you're
to
welcome.
learn, to really
For
get an
my pleasure.
idea. I've read some books on the Tao, but never understood it like you presented it. So,
Well, Taoism is about making life simple, eh?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just keep it
And
simple.
well, that's the problem, when you talk to a doctor or a lawyer, they use all kinds of very language that you have no idea what they're talking about, and
Right,
that's not Tao.
right,
You
right,
know, there
right.
was a professor. He said, sometimes I give my students an assignment, and they come back and they give me a very complicated story, and then I send them away, because when you really know what you are talking about, you can bring it in a simple way,
Yeah,
in simple language.
yeah,
You don't have to use any expensive words,
yeah, yeah.
because nobody understands what you're saying.
Right,
And you're only
right,
trying to impress people, but you don't have to.
right,
No,
right,
don't start impressing people, start impressing yourself.
right. Well, Gerard, we're running out of time, but I really appreciate you taking the time today to share Taoism and
Well, my
uh,
pleasure.
the, the effects of it. That's amazing. So, good luck to you, and hope to see you in the States sometime.
Well, I'm trying to get there, so yeah, I'm waiting for an invite, working hard on it.
Okay. All right. Well, all the best to you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. You have been listening to Minutes with Mango, Life in Motion. Subscribe to hear a new and unique guest each week as they comment on their life's journey and share experiences with lifestyle, culture, and career. You can always find us at minuteswithmango.com.